no.
Ocho Cinco, was he a quarterback?
Your ass better call somebody.
His team hasn't won a national championship since before he was even born.
Diggs gone for the touchdown. Caldwell Pope. How about that one, baby? Let's go. Come on.
Come back, Kelly.
I love college football.
Go Dogs.
Go Tigers.
Roll Tide, roll. Roll RMFT. Roll motherfucking Tide.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the College Football Weekly Matchup, Week 8. We had a definitely interesting week of college football. Some very disappointed fans over here. A couple of them, anyway. Hey, I'm happy. I mean, Georgia won 55-0. Didn't play nobody once again. Yeah, woohoo! Number one team in the country. That's fine. You know, whatever. We're still winning. Whatnot. We'll lead it off. You know, we're gonna talk to the other two in a second. But Bryson, the outsider looking in, Florida's not fighting for nothing. We're gonna be at the Florida Georgia game in just a couple weeks. You know, what's your thoughts on the week or how was your week of college football?
Yeah, it was a good week. A lot of great games. It's confirmed. It's always been confirmed. We suck. So I mean, no defense. Anthony Richardson looked good, but I mean, he can't carry a team by himself. I mean, our defense got to step up. We won't be in any, what's the word I'm looking for? Competitive. You know, we are going to the Georgia game this week. Me and you both got a bye week this week.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Next week. Get your finger out of the camera, please. Thanks.
Okay. So, me and you both got a bye week this week, leading up to Jacksonville. So, Alabama, Tennessee, great game. Good old Rocky Talk. Shout out to the fans dumping the field goal post of the Tennessee River. I love that. But, yeah, this is just a great week of college football.
Rocky Top, you'll always.
Come
on, Josh. Sing it.
Sweet home to me.
Oh, boy.
Great day to be a goddamn ball, baby.
Josh.
Hey, I do gotta say this. I'm proud for Josh because that's his two favorite teams. At least he got a winner for both of them.
So. Oh my God!
And I do want to talk some playoff scenarios a little bit. I know we got a while, but Josh, how was your week? Any short thoughts before we get into the game, or any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good Saturday of college football, and it ain't like Alabama hadn't lost in 10 years. That's what
they only had. What did they say? They had 7 championships. Only 2 of them's been undefeated seasons. So they've only had 2 undefeated seasons. So
well,
it doesn't matter.
I mean, I understand Tennessee has been 16 years. So I mean, I expected them to behave like that. But Alabama is the only team who gets a reaction from the whole nation. I mean, this stuff was on national news, but I mean, when you're the standard, that's what happens when you lose. The whole world reacts. But yeah, what confused me was all the Georgia fans that were happy Tennessee won, and
that's like the worst. It wasn't a good thing that Tennessee beat Alabama for Georgia fans. I didn't.
No. I don't think it is at all. I'm just messing with you. I wanted Alabama to win. I think it's the worst case scenario for Georgia, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it gives Georgia less of an opportunity. To be honest.
Real quick, there was two things in the game. It was a weird officiated game for sure.
Oh, here we go.
I don't. It should never come down to officiating.
It never should, but it has plenty of times. I mean,
the last offensive drive that Alabama had, and they've been running the ball okay against Tennessee, and you're close right there at field goal range, and you're going to go 3 passes and let them save their timeouts and not run and maybe try to get a little closer. You can miss the field goal with no time left and go into overtime. That was one thing, but with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Alabama intercepts the ball in the end zone, and the flag gets thrown like 15 seconds later after he crossed the 30-yard line, when it looked like a block in the back penalty to me, and then all of a sudden it was a pass interference penalty. But it never should come down to officiating. This team needed to lose. Their defense, their secondary is sketchy, and they got to get turned around because this guy for Mississippi State can sling the ball too. And they're coming into town. But yeah, this team plays real sloppy. Don't know what's going on. They got 17 penalties. About 10 of them were earned. About 7 of them were bullshit. But yeah.
Might be time for Nick Saban to hang him up.
Hang what up?
How many times did you change your jersey?
None.
None, dude.
None?
I was white.
I tell you my
all
hey,
white
I
out.
tell you my conspiracy. What I think why y'all lost. I texted Josh before the game. I said I was on his side, and I feel bad because I think that's why y'all lost. Because
No,
I was
we-
on y'all side for the day.
We lost because we couldn't cover this Jalen Hyatt guy. 5 touchdowns, 207 yards, only on 6 receptions. I mean, they couldn't stop that guy for nothing. But the penalties
Hey,
came at the most
I told you what they should have
inopportune
done.
time.
I told you what they should have done. They should have set the bounty. Hey, my team won a Super Bowl that way. Why can't yours win the playoff that way? Anyway, Preston, I know you're upset. We'll get into that in a little bit. But how was your week of college football? I mean,
It's good like normal.
time out. Before Clemson's got nothing to lose, so you shouldn't be upset. But anyway, go ahead and talk.
What do you mean they have nothing to lose? They have a national championship to lose.
Well, they can. I mean, they ain't gonna make it that far, but they.
Because they don't play in the SEC. We're good.
I just don't think they're that good. But I think they'll win. I think they'll make the playoff as long as they win this week. But go ahead.
All right. How many national championships has your team won?
Hey, they won it this year. So
hey, you know what? They won it once. But yep. Dabo Swinney knows how to get his team.
I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying I don't think it's nothing. I just don't think that Clemson's that good this year. They just haven't impressed me. But go ahead. Let's keep going. How was your week?
It was good. Saw my team take care of business as normal. They're looking good. They really do. They look good on offense. They look good on defense. Have the best kicker in college football, so they wouldn't miss a field goal to win the game. So everything's good right now in Clemson. Just keep putting your head down, work.
Gosh, that was kind of a shot, man. Hey, that was kind of a shot. What's your thoughts on Clemson, Josh?
That was a little low blow there to miss the game.
It's not the first time a kicker has cost Alabama.
I mean, Josh has been on your side. I haven't. Bryson hasn't, but he takes a shot at you.
I mean, there was a lot of Tennessee fans screaming that was a 50-yard field goal. He should have been put in a better position.
Hey, you know what? The SEC is the best conference of college football has ever seen. And you know what? They play in front of 100,000 screaming fans every Saturday, so I don't want to hear crowd noise as a BS clap. Because Clemson went into Texas A&M with 110,000 screaming fans, and they came out with a W, okay, with a subpar ACC team. So I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, the noise and the crowd was." I don't want to hear it. Texas A&M, 110,000 people.
Honestly,
came out with a W. Just saying.
I mean,
saying.
I don't want to keep talking about it, but have they I know you've probably watched the games more than I have. I've caught some Clemson games, but is Clemson really? I mean, even the Georgia Tech, has Clemson really? Besides maybe Furman, or not even Furman, really? They struggle. Have they really dominated anybody?
Yes, they dominated NC State. They had less than 100 yards rushing in the second half. NC State couldn't move the ball. Okay, they were up by 20 versus Florida State. Their second and third string defense was in there. And it's the same thing that happens every year for Clemson. A couple weeks ago, they were playing Boston College, and they were up big, and DJ Uiagalelei was throwing the ball. And everybody and all the tabloids are saying, well, Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers are an unsportsmanlike team because they were throwing the ball late, up big. So you can't win. And then they play Florida State. They're up by 20 in the fourth quarter. They put in their second and third string defensive. And this isn't a first thing for Dabo. Dabo does this all the time. If he has the opportunity to put in people, he is going to play everybody on his roster. So the moment he puts in second and third string defense, Florida State starts scoring 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter.
What's the case when they're playing, for example, Georgia Tech early in the season and they're struggling?
What's the case for Kent State? What's the case for Missouri? You have bad games early in the season, but the thing is they came out with a W. Okay? They've looked good. They have not played down since those 2 games. They have not played down to their competition, and they've played very good on all thoughts. I mean,
I take Missouri over Georgia Tech any day of the week right now.
It doesn't matter. They both won the games. They both come up as a W in the Rock. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying a win's a win. You can't win if you're winning by 6, and you can't win if you're winning by 40 for Clemson. It seems like, oh, you're not good. You're not putting up enough points. Oh, you're unsportsmanlike. You're running the score up. So you just can't win in these situations.
Yeah. Bryson, what do you want to say?
It still says NFL weekly matchup.
Yes, sir.
Damn it, Chris.
Every week you do that. Anyway. All right, let's recap some games here real quick. I know we've already talked about it a little bit. We had Bama falling to Tennessee 52-49. The knuckleball goes in. I mean, Josh, do you want to – Bryson, go ahead. Bryson, lead us off. Go ahead.
I thought that was a bad kick, but they almost blocked that kick.
Yeah, it was tipped.
It crossed the crossbar by that much.
Yeah, I didn't realize until the day after. I thought that was just a pretty bad kick, but and then somebody pointed it out, and that was just crazy. But that's all I got to say about that. This is great,
It was a
probably gonna be one
knuckleball.
of the greatest games go down this season.
Yeah. Josh, any thoughts?
I mean, I was I was I was pleased with my team's effort to come down from 18 to get back in the game, to be leading in the fourth quarter. But like I said, they're playing too sloppy. They needed to lose. Um, Tennessee's got a real high-powered offense, and
I
like I
mean, does
said,
it really? I mean, does it really affect that much if they went out?
who? Alabama?
Yeah,
If Alabama wins the SEC, they're in the
that's what I'm
title game.
saying. So does
I
it
mean, they're in the
really?
playoff.
Does it really technically affect like that much? You know, with them losing.
No, but I mean, they still got to go on the road to Ole Miss. I mean, they still got road games ahead of them to win. They got to go on the road to LSU and Ole Miss. They get Auburn and Mississippi State at home. But yeah, I mean, I think they still control their own destiny, but they're definitely going to have to clean up the penalties. Just the boneheaded mistakes that they make, especially in crucial situations like third down penalties to put yourself even further behind the sticks, or third down to give the other team a first down. But yeah, I was pleased with the way Bryce Young played, man. If it wasn't for him, we would have been blown out.
No, yeah, that's what I was talking about the other day. Preston, any thoughts on the game?
Like Josh says, they still control their own destiny. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Saban gets this team put back together and everything. I mean, it's a little weird of a season for them so far. I mean, we said the same thing. Oh, Nick Saban's going to have this team geared up and ready to go for the rest of the season after Texas A&M, and now to Tennessee. Teams that start with T have really given Alabama a struggle this season, which I'm not sure if there's a correlation there. I don't know if they're scared of the alphabet in some sort. But this is probably the last week that Alabama could have lost and still controlled their own destiny. So, I mean, it's, it sucks that they've got a loss in their scoreboard, but I mean, they'll rebound. I think they'll just be fine. I think they're going to end up playing the SEC championship and compete for a playoff bid again.
Gotcha. Utah knocking off USC, coming back to win 43-42. Josh, any thoughts on that game? I know, it was a night game. It was after your, disappointing loss, but any thoughts?
So the worst thing that could have happened for like TCU and Utah was for Alabama to get beat, because that's all that the media is talking about. But the guts that it took for Utah to go for two, you know what I mean? You're not a 4-loss team with nothing to play for, and you go for two right there to go for the win against USC. I thought it was a really gutsy move, and it paid off for him. If he didn't, he would look really dumb today. But yeah, and then TCU in the double overtime, that game, I did have Oklahoma State picked in our picks, which that half point got me a win. But yeah, I was surprised by TCU. I thought Oklahoma State would win that game outright, and they almost did. TCU came back, and good for them for sticking with the game plan and coming back in that game.
Bryson, any thoughts on those two games? TCU winning, double OT, Utah winning.
Yeah, I know Utah. I know Cameron Rising. I think he had like 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had a pretty good game.
415 yards.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it would have come back. That's all I can really say. That's all I really got about it.
Preston, any thoughts?
Just reiterating what Josh says. I mean, just what a call by the coach. Like you said, they've got 2 or 3 losses now. I know they've got one because they lost to Florida, but like he said, their season's still in front of them. Utah.
Got 2? Well, Utah's got 1 loss, right?
They've got. Is it only 1 or 2?
It's 1. Utah won. Utah won. They beat USC by 1. What I was saying was
no. I'm saying how many losses does Utah have?
They have 1 or 2? Josh? 1, right?
I don't know. Did Utah play UCLA?
I think they've got 2.
I could be wrong. Keep talking for a minute.
But either way, I still think that it would, like Josh said. I mean, what a ballsy play to go for 2 late in that game. I mean, you got 1 shot to knock off for USC right there. So I mean,
you're right.
You take a shot.
They lost to UCLA. I apologize. I forgot.
So yeah, I mean, that's just ballsy play calling there. Got him the dub.
Gotcha. Also had Oklahoma. Not much talk about it. Oklahoma, after getting stomped by Texas, come out and stomp Kansas. I mean, I know anybody thought. I know nobody probably watched much of that game, but does anybody have thoughts on Oklahoma coming back? Not really. All right, let's get in. We'll talk. I didn't even put this in the rant. Clemson's not in the top 4. Preston's upset. Don't know why. Any thoughts, Preston? I mean, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
I don't think we have enough time, but what I will say is Clemson beats number 10 NC State at number 5 earlier 2 weeks ago, and they stay put. Michigan does the same thing, and they jump us. If I say us, I'm not a part of the team. And then you got Tennessee beats Alabama, and they jump Clemson. All the AP is doing is helping out ESPN put more money in their pockets when it comes down to it in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks on October 5th when Tennessee takes a trip to Athens. They really want that 1-2 matchup, okay, or 1-3 matchup. And at the end of the season in week 13, they really want that 2-3 matchup versus Michigan and Ohio State. That's all this is. Josh reiterated in the text message earlier when I got pissed off about it. It says it doesn't matter. These teams all have to play each other. And when Clemson goes undefeated in the regular season and then wins the conference, I mean, they're going to be right there, but they're going to be the number 2 or 3 seed because whoever wins the SEC is going to be number 1. And watch Alabama. If Alabama beats Tennessee in the SEC championship game, they're going to be number 1. Clemson's going to be 3 for some reason. I'm not sure how.
How would that work if I was thinking about it. I don't know if Georgia comes out and beats Tennessee, well, and then Alabama comes out and beats Georgia. I mean, how's that going?
That would be you would have 3 SEC schools right there in the top 6 or 7, and but the problem is
there's there's no way none of them championship teams get knocked out. Do they?
No. SEC champ, the Big Ten champ, an undefeated ACC champ, and an undefeated Pac-12 champ. I think would get in over an undefeated TCU.
I don't know about the Pac-12. That's one I don't know about.
But yeah. UCLA is good. If they win out,
okay, UCLA
win out, they're good.
UCLA probably. Yeah.
Well, I mean, TCU's kind of like a Cinderella story, and they got a really good quarterback, but UCLA's quarterback is
I just don't know, man. I mean, especially if all those games are close between Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. I mean, you just never know. I'm not saying it's right. But I'm just saying. I mean, there's a possibility.
Well, Preston's right about ESPN wanting to hype up this Georgia Tennessee 1 versus 3 matchup, but these coaches have got to keep these players on even keel because Florida is just as much threat to Georgia if Georgia's head's not in the game as Kentucky is to Tennessee, and they both play. Tennessee plays Kentucky and Georgia plays Florida right before that game, the Tennessee-Georgia game. So if they want to keep that muster up, I mean, better watch the officiating in that game, in those games is all I want to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think Kentucky, Tennessee, that could definitely, be a good game. Is there any thoughts, about Clemson not being in the top 4? I mean, do you think they should have been in the top 4, Josh, or?
The only argument that I have for them not being in top 4 and Michigan being there is that Michigan manhandled Penn State big time. And they're just not – the voters just aren't giving much love to the ACC right now. But in years past where we've had 2 SEC teams in the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if this year we had 2 Big Ten schools in the playoffs. If Ohio State and Michigan are both undefeated when they play each other, and a 1-loss Big Ten team gets in, and an undefeated Big Ten team gets in, that would not surprise me. And only 1 SEC team getting in.
I mean, Preston, I want to keep it going, but that don't change your mind as dominant. I mean, I know. You say Clemson did dominate against NC State, but as lopsided the score was, that doesn't affect anything as far as Michigan being number 4?
No, because Penn State and Michigan was tied almost at halftime. They manhandled them in the second half. So, I mean, yeah, they finished the game out big, but It's not like they had that full for 60 minutes. A second half adjustment proved that they were a better team. And I mean, I picked it wrong last week in the pick'em, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The committee's going to determine it in a couple weeks, anyways.
I mean, it's really not going to matter because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, all Clemson has to do is win. I mean, Clemson wins, they're fine.
Yep.
And Clemson wins, they're going to be in the top 4 regardless.
But I mean, Josh said that wouldn't be a shocker if Big Ten had 2 teams in the playoff. But the Big Ten has been the conference that's laid the biggest eggs besides Oklahoma in the playoffs. I mean, Michigan State got absolutely blown out. Clemson absolutely blew out 31-0 over Ohio State. They, had that big comeback in the Fiesta Bowl. Michigan got blown out last year by Georgia. I mean, the Big Ten doesn't have a big track record except for the 2 big games that they've won. In the Sugar Bowl versus Alabama, Ohio State won and goes on to win the national championship that year. And in the Fiesta Bowl when Ohio State beat Clemson 2 years ago. I mean, it's not like the Big Ten has been this dominant powerhouse in the playoffs, and the committee is going to put that into retrospect when it comes down to make their decision if there is an opportunity to put 2 teams in. Both of those teams have laid eggs. And I know this is a completely different roster, but that's the same mindset. You have to think you still put on those same jerseys and those same helmets, and that's going to run through their mind like, oh, we got to score more points than they did last time. And you know what? If there's an opportunity to put a 1-loss SEC team that didn't play for the SEC, like say if Tennessee beats Georgia, and Georgia doesn't make the SEC championship game, but they still go 11-1, and Michigan, loses by 3 points. There's an argument to say that a 1-loss non-SEC championship contender, is in over the 1-loss SEC or Big Ten runner-up. Because I mean, these teams have not performed in the playoffs. So, I mean, that's just my take on it.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, end of the day, I probably think Clemson's probably been number 4.
Well, I think the playoff committee's top 25 will come out November the 6th. The day after the Tennessee and the Georgia play.
Yeah. Yeah, it just depends. Like for me, like when I'm looking at the rankings, I personally look at who I think's the best teams to me personally. And I don't think they got it wrong personally, but if you're going off everything, Clemson probably should be number 4. I mean, I don't know. I think it's tough for me personally. And I'm not trying to be super biased, but
no, you're
fine.
A
Clemson guy, but I just, I want to see Clemson's got a big matchup this week. I mean, and I don't think Clemson's going to die. I mean, Clemson's favored by 13.5, but if Clemson was to come out and dominate this week, maybe they hop them somehow. I mean, they're placing an undefeated school, even though it is Syracuse. I mean, who knows? All right, let's get into the player of the week. Yeah, I mean, has anybody got a player of the week? You guys go for it.
Yeah, I got Tennessee's wide receiver, Jalen Hyatt. Five touchdowns, 207 yards on 6 receptions.
I figured everybody would pick that. I got the same thing, so that's what I wrote down. I mean, the dude. I mean, I know we tried to pick different. I know Preston's got something different, but I mean, I just couldn't guard him. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, he didn't have many receptions, and all of them were pretty much touchdowns. I mean, what was the greatest game by receiver in Tennessee history? Something like that. So, Bryson.
Chris, I'm going to pick one of our favorite players of all time, John Rice Plumlee, for the quarterback of UCF. Over 500 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yep, I agree. I mean, they
Who'd
put
they
up
play,
70 points.
Who'd they play, Temple?
Temple, yes.
I mean,
hey, that dude, Plumlee's a stud now. I don't care who they played. I mean, Plumlee, I liked him. I liked him at Ole Miss. I mean, he's a stud.
I'm never going to forget when we were watching the Ole Miss game and he
run,
was
man.
breaking out.
You know how many rushing yards he had or no?
No, I didn't. No, I just saw the 500 over 500 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Hey, UCF's only lost 1 game. Why ain't they in the top 25?
Because they don't play in the SEC.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Come on. Okay, Clemson's just got to go ahead and lose.
God.
I don't think Clemson's going to lose, but they need to go ahead and lose so we can stop hearing you. All right, let's go ahead and Is anybody or Preston? Sorry, play of the week. My bad.
Well, I didn't want to go with the Tennessee wide receiver, so I went with Cam Rising, 30 for 44, 415 yards and 2 touchdowns versus USC. Bryson talked about it a little earlier. I just think he's a great player.
Gotcha. I know Preston had his rant, and we already kind of went through that. Does anybody have a rant of the week? I believe I wrote one down. I know we want to keep it going, but I believe I got to see if I can find it real quick.
I got one for you.
All right, Bryson, go ahead and lead us off real quick.
It's going to be very quick. How about them Braves, baby? That's all I got to say. On to the next.
Hey, I got one rant. I got one rant. When Alabama loses, and I said this last year, people call me that I ain't heard from. People reach out to me on Facebook, post on my page that don't even watch football. They just see the score and they're like, "Oh, let me hit Josh up." I mean, I've had in this past year, I've had some people real close to me pass on and die. Nobody reached out to me then, but when Alabama loses, they're gonna reach out to you. So, if you're listening, you know who you are. I mean, it just blows my mind the reaction that the world gets when Alabama loses.
Yeah.
Rocky Top, you always be home, sweet home to me.
Okay. I was trying to figure out, my bad, Preston. I was trying to figure out where I hear air is Bryson's freaking fan. That's why I hear blowing. I was trying to
I get the notification. It says the host is.
Bryson says no, it ain't, and he's not. Everybody else will do everything and cooperate, but Bryson, even though he's got it 65 degrees in his house, he will not cooperate.
He got that jacket on.
30
he
minutes.
Went to your house and got that jacket. He ain't gonna leave it nowhere else.
That's not the jacket he got. He got another jacket. But anyway,
he still got that jacket on, dude. Make
I
yourself at home.
I do have one
Everybody
thing
else
to say.
will cooperate.
I do have one thing left to say for Chris and myself. Bryson and Josh have been very, very good losers. They've been very respectful. They have not dropped their team, and I respect the heck out of both of y'all for that. When Florida lost to Kentucky and when Tennessee lost or beat Alabama, well, nobody's dropping the team.
Bryson's dropped his team. Bryson dropped his team before the
all
season
I'm saying is they still rep them, and it's not the end of the world, and they have a clear mindset into the next week. That's not always been how I've operated. When Clemson lost 3 games last season, you'd have damn thought the world was ending. But that's all I got to say. I respect y'all for that.
And Preston knows this. Preston is a biased fan. He's a very biased fan. Not saying that, and he knows his numbers. He knows his stuff. Very biased fan, but he is loyal.
Hey, listen, man. If we lose this week, Mississippi State at home, man, it might be a different picture for me to come over here next week. But yeah, I mean, I went to all the festivities. I went to all the fall festivities with all my Alabama gear on. Ain't gonna stop me.
I'm sorry. I got that song stuck in my head so bad. I've heard it so much this week. Josh hates it.
The best team Tennessee's had in 20 years. In 20 years, and it took a last-second field goal, and you were up by 18.
And that Tim Wakefield knuckleball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do got a question. Preston just was talking about how we're faithful to our teams, and I was talking to somebody about this at work. Where would y'all think? Big if, huge if. Florida beat Utah. We jump up to 12. If we would have won out every single game, if we were still undefeated, where do you think Florida would fall right now?
Who cares?
If they're undefeated right now, they're probably like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoulda, coulda. I mean, they ain't undefeated though.
They're definitely. If Florida's undefeated, they're in the top 5 for sure.
I mean, they're definitely above Clemson. That's for sure.
But then Tennessee wouldn't be.
Florida had some tough games.
If Florida was undefeated, Tennessee wouldn't be undefeated.
I would say Florida's had a tough. Nothing against Clemson, but I mean, NC State and Wake Forest. I would say Florida's had a tougher schedule than, on paper to me, than Clemson. But
I was just thinking, if we actually had, a playoff shot, if we would have stayed, somewhat undefeated. Granted, our back half is the harder part of our schedule, But
have y'all have already played Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we lost.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you beat Georgia, And if Tennessee loses to
I-
Georgia, and there could be a little triangle there. Next thing you know, you pop up in the SEC championship with 2
No,
losses.
sir.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? It's not over yet.
It's really
not
not.
over.
It's really not. But I am more Georgia and Tennessee. That game does worries me because Tennessee did
I got
like to.
a rant for you.
All right, we gotta keep it going.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, so I was going to buy my dad tickets for the Georgia and Tennessee game. Okay, a couple months ago, it was $100. I should have bought them. How much you?
$1,000.
$400 for the same section nosebleed. Yeah, get fucked. That's what I said.
Okay, quick. Last thing. Did y'all see? I saw this image, and it was a seat at Tennessee where it was like the press box was right there, and you can literally only see 12 yards. Who the hell would buy that ticket? You can't see shit. That ticket is expensive. You can't see shit. You can see 12 yards. That's it. That ticket was like $500 too. It was $500.
All I wanted to say was, when I'm watching Monday Night Football, I don't give a damn about no damn monthly test in the middle of on ESPN. How the fuck does a monthly test get on ESPN? I could give 2 shits about a monthly test in the middle of a play, in the middle of a first down, he's about to drop back and throw the ball. I mean, Josh, how mad would you be if that happened in that Alabama game, dude? Are you?
Dude.
I didn't even care about the game. It's the Chargers. It was the Chargers and the Broncos or somebody. I could give 2 shits. But
why do we keep getting the Broncos on national TV? Can we stop seeing them, please?
But
Broncos Nation.
I'd rather watch that.
Let's
I'd rather watch that than watch a monthly test interrupt my damn football. Don't let that happen again.
Is that worse than when they were trying to show the number 62 home run from Judge?
Yeah, I'd rather see. As much as I hate Aaron Judge. Hey, how about Josh Naylor? God dang, I like Josh Naylor. I wanted the Guardians to win.
All right, let's get on these picks. I gotta go.
We gotta go. We gotta get on the picks. We keep them too long.
What's our records for last week?
Oh yeah,
sorry.
Records. Here we go. Josh goes 5-3.
It's only our bright thing he had for the week. Go ahead.
Josh goes 5-3, bringing his overall record to 23 and 24. And Chris goes 3-5, bringing his record to 19 and 28. Bryson, you did not give us the Alabama pick, so you took a loss. You went 3-5, brings your record.
I apologize. He did tell me the pick.
Who did he say?
You told me you were taking Bama, right, Bryce? Okay.
So you went 3-5, and that brings your record to 22 and 25. Preston, you went 3-5. That brings your record to 22 and 25. And now I have a 1-game lead headed into week 8.
Rocky Top.
How far am I behind? I'm sorry.
You are 19.
4 games.
You're 4 games out of first place.
Hey, so it's kind of tight.
Yeah, it's kind of tight.
College
tighter
is a
than
lot
the
tight.
NFL show.
Yeah, well, you got a lot more games on NFL too. All right, let's get into the college football games. Upcoming games, week number 8. We got Saturday, 3:30. Ole Miss at LSU. LSU favored by 1.5. Preston, who you going with?
Who's favored by 1.5?
Did I write that right? LSU, yeah. I was surprised by that too. I'll double check it, but I was surprised by that too. LSU favored by 1.5.
LSU is favored by 1.5. This game is in LSU.
Yeah, they favored. We were talking about this. I was listening to this on another. A lot of people were surprised by this line. So
I mean, Vegas knows something we don't apparently.
Isn't Ole Miss undefeated still? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Ole Miss is numbered what?
7.
8.
7.
Yeah, LSU still favored by 1.5. So.
Give me Ole Miss plus 1.5. I could come back to regret this because maybe Vegas knows something I don't. But and LSU has been surprising me each and every week. I keep saying they can't do this, can't do that, and they're coming out and performing more than I thought they would. But I'm gonna take Ole Miss plus 1.5.
Josh, who you got?
I got Ole Miss.
Yeah, I guess I got to go Ole Miss too. I mean, I don't understand the line. LSU didn't they just get blown out by Tennessee, even though Tennessee's pretty good? Got to go Ole Miss. Bryce, who you got?
Hotty toddy, baby.
All right, let's keep it going. We are going to go to Texas, Oklahoma State. Texas favored by 6.5. Another one. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's 6.5 right here. Texas is favored by 6.5. Oklahoma State on DraftKings Sportsbook. That's what I'm using. So Preston shocked. I know Bryson. Josh, who you taking?
Well, I think Oklahoma State probably gonna have a little bit of a letdown. I like Quinn Ewers in this game. I'm gonna go Texas to win by a touchdown.
I mean, Texas is pretty good. Even though a lot of people, said they had Quinn Ewers, that could be a different story, especially in that Alabama game, and they could be up there right now. Bryson, who you going with?
Yeah, give me Oklahoma State.
Preston.
Give me Oklahoma State.
How many games has Texas lost?
2.
Lost 2. Who was there 2? They lost Alabama and
was it TCU?
Yeah.
Yep.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, I like Spencer Sanders. I think he's improved this year. Maybe not so much last game as much, but I don't know. I like Sanders, so I'm taking Oklahoma State. Maybe Josh can get up a game right there. All right, let's keep it going. Let's go to a good game here. Could have been game of the week, but we didn't. Saturday, 3:30, UCLA at Oregon. Oregon favored by 6.5. Once again.
Jesus Christ.
Preston's shocked with these lines. That's what they are. Right. Are we good? Bryson, who you taking?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bruins here.
Bryson is taking the Bruins still undefeated.
Is it plus 6.5, right?
Yep.
Plus 6.5, yeah. I mean, they've impressed me. I mean, we're probably all going – these lines are weird. They're probably all going to get them wrong, but I got to take UCLA. Preston, who you got?
I got UCLA.
All right, Josh, who you got?
Yep, UCLA. Even though
Oregon's been playing good.
Oregon has been playing good, and old quarterback they got came from Auburn. He's been playing pretty good, man. But
Bo Nix.
I think Oregon can win. I just don't think they'll win by more than 7.
They could.
I don't think they'll win by 6.
I just think this quarterback for UCLA, man, I really like him, and I think he steals the show.
But if Oregon ends up winning on Saturday, that might be the final nail in the coffin for the Pac-12. Oregon's still up there in the rankings, but I think they get jumped by a couple other teams if it comes down to it. So if UCLA wins on Saturday, that could be the very last chance that the Pac-12 has.
UCLA will have to beat Oregon not once but twice to remain undefeated.
Yeah. Who we missing? Did everybody pick that game? We're on to the next game. All right.
Yep.
Let's go to the next game. We're sticking with Bama. We keeping them in, or no? Sorry, missed a game. Saturday, 3:30, Purdue at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's favored by 3.5. Preston, who you got?
Give me the Boilermakers plus 3.5.
He is taking Purdue. I think I'm going with him. I wasn't high on Wisconsin this year. Purdue, they got the quarterback O'Connell, I believe. I like Purdue, and they got that receiver over there. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I like Purdue, so I'm taking Purdue plus 6.5. Josh, you got?
Yeah, I got Purdue plus 3.5.
Oh, sorry, plus 3.5. I was still in the last game. I apologize. Can I take him plus 6.5, though? Is anybody going to be mad? Who is like ruffling? Sit still, Preston.
It might have been me.
Does it sound like you're ruffling a bag of M&M's?
That's Bryson's jacket.
Bryson, sit still.
No, it's not. It's goddamn Preston.
Yeah.
I'm writing. It's not me.
Yeah, it's that's what the fuck it is.
It probably is. I don't know. I heard Bryson's fan earlier. It probably is Bryson.
Fans off.
Yeah, I don't hear it no more. But I hear ruffling. It's probably ruffling against your jacket. Anyway.
You didn't hear it.
Yeah, well, when you just did that, it sounded exactly like the noise I just heard. Anyway, we gotta keep going. Josh, you gotta get off. All right, let's keep it going. We got Mississippi State at Alabama. Bama favored by 21.5. I mean, should they be favored by? I'm taking Mississippi State. I don't think they should be favored by 20.5 against anybody, even though I don't like Mississippi State.
Is it 20.5 or 21.5?
21.5. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's definitely Preston writing.
You owe me an apology now.
I don't know because I feel like it's the jacket too. Anyway, I don't know how Preston could Preston. You could probably go to your settings and turn down your mic, but let's keep it going. Josh,
I probably could, but I'm not.
Wow.
Josh, who you got?
Yeah, man. Until the Alabama secondary can improve, I think Will Rogers might keep this game kind of close. So I'm going with Mississippi State in the points.
Bryson.
Yeah. I'll go roll motherfucking Tide, baby. Give me the Tide.
Preston.
Saving them boys are pissed.
Preston.
I'm going to go Mississippi State plus 21.5. That's just so many points. If it was 20.5, I know that 1 point makes a big difference to me. If it's 20.5, I feel more comfortable taking Bama. But that 21.5 makes it so uncomfortable for me that I'm going to go with Mississippi State.
Kansas State at TCU. TCU favored by 3.5. Bryson, lead us off.
I like the Horned Frogs here. Give me TCU.
TCU coming on. TCU, have they lost? They
No.
lose recently? They haven't lost yet?
Undefeated.
Kansas State lost to Texas, correct? And
Yes.
Texas, and that's it, or they lose somebody else?
They've had to lose somebody else if they're just now in the top 25.
Anyway, yeah, I'm taking TCU. Preston, who you got?
I got TCU.
We're all taking TCU. Josh, who you going with?
Yep, TCU. Even though they may have a letdown, but
yeah, I could see that too. And I don't think Kansas State's that bad. I don't know what my phone's doing. I was trying to see who else they lost to. But anyway. All right, let's keep it going. Everybody taking TCU there. Let's go to Saturday, 7 p.m. I know I'm going back to 7 p.m. Boise State at Air Force. Josh's team in Air Force, he was so high on, I believe, a couple weeks ago. Air Force favored by 3.5. Josh, who you going with?
yeah, I'm going to go with Boise State.
You done jumped away from Air Force, huh?
In this game.
Okay. Preston, who you got?
What's the spread again?
3.5 for Air Force. Not a lot of good games, so I had to throw some more. I wanted to get 8 games on here, so that's
are either of these teams ranked? I haven't seen a single one of these games.
3.5. I haven't either, but I started to go Kansas and Baylor, but I don't know. I thought this line was close, so I don't know.
I have no idea about these. This is a shot in the dark, but I like the servicemen because I respect them. So give me Air Force.
Sorry, I don't know what I was saying. Bryson, who you go with?
Give me the Broncos, Boise State.
Yeah. We'll keep it 2 for 2. I'm going Air Force. I don't know. Give me Air Force. If they're playing at Boise State, maybe because they're playing on that ugly home field. But yeah, I'm taking Air Force. Final game, we got the game of the week. We are going number 14 undefeated Syracuse at number 5 Clemson. Clemson favored by 13.5. It's just too many points for me. I got to take Syracuse. Oh, Josh.
Damn.
That's first time. Oh, and now I removed him by an accident. Okay,
there
he goes. Josh is back. Yeah, Josh, I said I was taking Syracuse. If you didn't, plus 13.5. That's what I said. Preston, we're going to go with you next. Tell us why you're taking Clemson.
I'm going to take Clemson because a couple weeks ago they were unsportsmanlike for running up the score, and they definitely weren't. This past week, they're not a good enough team because they didn't blow out Florida State.
Can I ask a question? How many games has Clemson won by 13.5? I just want to know.
I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head. It's always tunnel vision, looking ahead. I don't even know.
They haven't won a ranked game by 13.5. Josh accidentally left again. Okay. They haven't won a ranked game by 13.5 at all, I don't think.
No, because Wake Forest was like a 2 points. Or no, it was 6 points. And NC State was 10. So Syracuse, they're going to win by 20. So, like I said,
win by 20.
But at the end of the day, all they got to do is win by 1. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He can't take it. I think deep down he thinks they're going to win. They're going to win, but he doesn't think they're going to win by 20.
I don't think. I know.
All right, who did Bryson take?
Bryson didn't take nobody yet. Bryson, who you got?
You can go ahead and write it down for me, son. The Big Orange. That's who I want.
Come on, Josh. Make it 3 against 1. Give us the Big Orange, Josh.
I think I'll do it just to piss me off.
No, I mean, I just don't know how you. I'm not trying to piss you off. How do you look at this and I know you're a Clemson fan, but how? I mean,
It's not me looking at it. I know I'm a Clemson fan, but I can take these colors
But
off for just a second and look
who
at
would
it.
who would look at this and say, "Hey, let's take Clemson minus 13.5 against an undefeated team," and Clemson hasn't won a ranked game or barely anybody by 13.5. I mean, seriously, I'm not trying to talk. I'm just saying,
Hey,
13.5 is a
hey,
lot of points.
Clemson's got the depth over Syracuse. Big
Oh, I
time.
think they can win by 13.5. I agree. Go ahead.
But Syracuse has a real good running game, and Clemson's the strongest part of their defense is stopping the run. So I think Syracuse may struggle here. But I think Clemson wins by 13. So I'm going to go with Q's.
Yeah.
That's just an extra game I've made up on you guys.
I just don't see it, man. I just don't 13.5. That's a lot of points. All right, let's get into the that was all the games there.
Locks.
Let's get into the locks first. Locks, I'm taking Clemson's at home, but I'm taking Syracuse. I just think that's a lot of points. Syracuse plus 13.5. I'm really not doing it to be funny. I just think that's too many points. I just think it's too many points.
You may not be doing it to be funny, but it is funny.
It is funny. Hey, time out. Good old Rocky Top. Go ahead, Josh.
All right. Give me.
Y'all can't wait till Georgia loses, can you?
Give me. I hope Georgia don't lose. I hope.
You probably hope I go to Florida and Georgia loses.
Look, I hope. I mean, I live
That's
here
what
in
Preston
Georgia
hopes.
and a bunch of Georgia fans, and I hope they win every game from here on out for the rest of their lives.
For the rest of their life. He's trying to jinx the shit out of us. Fuck you. Oh shit.
All right,
I'm
gonna go with. Give me Ole Miss. That's the easiest lock, I think.
Yeah. Preston.
This is a little bit of a tougher one for me because I'm not really sure about it.
I mean, you were surprised by some of the lines you could take. I know you're surprised by the Ole Miss. You could double up with Josh if you want to.
That might be, but I'm gonna roll with my boys. Clemson minus 13.5, baby. They're gonna blow the heck out of. They're gonna beat the heck out of Syracuse.
Chris Collinsworth. Hey, Craig. Hey, Chris Collinsworth needs another partner, boys. I think Bryson, I didn't get your thoughts on that. Did you hear Chris Collinsworth?
What did he say?
Do you know what we're talking about? You didn't hear this? Sorry, Josh. I don't mean to keep you a moment.
Do you want me to tell him what he said?
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
All right. So there's an offensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles who ironically played for Alabama. His name's Landon Dickerson. And nobody in the history of college sports has ever referred to anything an offensive lineman has done as sliding through there down your throat. Dickerson sliding through there down your throat. Now here's a guy, Dickerson, sliding through there, coming right down your throat.
I just love it. It's like when Charles Barkley said it last year. He's like, I really like it when the dude's banging up on you.
No, I'll make it even worse, Bryce. I'll give you the exact quote. A taste of Landon Dickerson coming right down your throat. That's what he said. Yeah. That's what he threatened. That was pretty rough. I can't believe you haven't heard that, Bryce. Look it up. If you haven't heard it.
Wow.
I was watching that live.
What's your lock?
All right,
What's your lock, Bryce?
Let's keep going. Lock, Bryce.
Damn.
I think I can finally say can I choose Florida in our bye week?
Yeah.
No. Who you taking?
Give me Ole Miss. I think, like Josh said, that's the easiest lock. It's just like when Tennessee faced LSU and Tennessee was only favored by 4.5. Yeah, bullshit. I don't give a damn what they got down there in Louisiana. But yeah, Ole Miss winning big here.
All right, I gotta go.
Gotcha. All right. Well, you want to give your top four real quick, Josh? Is it the same?
It's the same. It's give me Tennessee, Michigan,
Tennessee number 1.
4.
Oh, okay. Tennessee, Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia.
Yep.
Preston, who you got your top 4?
I've got Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, and Michigan.
Okay. Bryson, who you got? I've had people argue saying Tennessee should be number 1, which I don't agree with, but I have heard that. But anyway, Bryson, who you going with?
I like the way they got it right now. Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Michigan.
Yeah, if I'm going by best, I'll put Clemson at number 4. I'll say
You don't have to do anything for me. You don't have to do anything
because
for
I
me.
think it's a toss up. I think it's Georgia, Ohio State. I think Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Clemson. That's what I'm going with.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's it. We'll see what Clemson's made of. Appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, whatever, download.